may have to transition.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another night in the She Shack. Uh, so, Father's Day is coming up, and we're going to be talking about Father's Day. We had some very interesting off-screen topics and related to
He
Father's
might as
Day,
well
and we're
come
going
on
to
back
get
here.
there in a minute. Also, right now we're outside. It was a beautiful day, but now the rain is starting to come down. So don't be alarmed if the live kind of freezes and then we jump back on at a later time, because then we'll have to bring all our equipment and everything inside. Um, so how you feeling?
Oh, I'm fantastic and amazing.
How was your day?
My day was very well, thank you.
That's awesome. So we've been having some information kind of like floating about. I didn't want to jump into nothing too tragic at first, but it's hard not to discuss the mass shooting that happened on South Street in Philadelphia. Um, it was 14 people injured, 3 people dead,
No,
and more
11. 11 people injured, 3 people dead.
and more information has come out that this was a shootout between two individuals on South Street.
Yeah, they showed the. I was watching the news. They showed where 3 individuals had got into a confrontation, and looked like they jumped on. 2 of the individuals jumped on one of them, and apparently the guy had a gun, and he was. It looked to me, from every indication, they didn't say he was defending himself, but that's when the shooting started.
And my husband and I, we visited to New Orleans, and a lot of people has heard a lot about, the crime being at an all-time high, and people not wanting to go to the city and that kind of thing. But one thing that really came up in conversation, having healthy conversation with other adults, and one of the things they pointed out was there's only 800 police officers for the entire city of New Orleans. It's only 800 officers when typically they would have about 1,500 officers. And out of those 800 officers that's currently not there, it's, out with COVID, out with medical leave, detail assignments. So literally we're dealing with possibly 500 police officers to look over the entire city, right? So does it mean that crime is really up or the help is really less?
It could actually be a combination of both. I mean, police officers are just like regular individuals, except for they have a job and they have on a uniform, and they have they took an oath to protect and serve. But
Let's
by
just
the
get
same
right into
token,
it. So do you support the movement of defunding the police?
no, I don't. I don't support defunding the police. What I support is, well, to me, they probably need to increase the training for the police officers and give them whatever funding they need to protect the streets. And the reason why I say that, I mean, look at the shootings and the innocent people that's getting not only injured but killed.
Do you think the streets was safer when they had all this money for the police? Because I don't feel any safer than it was prior to before we had the whole defund the police movement. We still was seeing alarming rates of crime. We were seeing alarming rates of break-ins, and we saw rape being at an all-time high over the past couple years. So I don't know if defunding the police is truly the answer to the problem.
I'm pretty sure defunding the police isn't the answer to the problem. What I think is that maybe they need to up the training. Because from what I understand, I have been talking to several people, and everybody have an opinion, okay? Then they were saying, okay, you can train for 6 months and you'll become a police officer. I really don't know how true it is. I mean, if you're going to be carrying a gun, and then you're going to have to be dealing with all different walks of life, to me, you need more than 6 months of training. Okay.
I don't think that 6 months is exclusive to training, but what I will say is this: I don't think that you can train a person not to be racist. I don't think that you can train a person not to be discriminatory to another person because of the color of their skin or their cultural background, or you know, where they live. You know, because
But you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, but that's what we experience.
I know we are experiencing it, and it's a true fact. Okay, this is not a myth. This is not something that just happened.
Right.
This is something that's been going on for years. Okay,
I agree, absolutely.
Okay, so I think what's going on now is that our culture, black culture, is tired of it.
I
all
agree.
right.
Yes.
And I mean, you know, we have been victimized by the police department. We have been unjustly accused of stuff. You know, it's not with us. It's guilty until proven innocent. With other people, it's innocent until proven guilty. Okay, and
when you say other people, you're specifically stating in other cultures, as long as
Yeah.
you're not an African American person of color,
Yeah, there you
then
go.
we're talking you are considered guilty until the judicial system proves you innocent.
Because you got to think about it. And you know what? It was brought to my attention a long time ago when I was a young girl. When a black person committed a crime, they posted his picture all over the television, whether he wanted it there or not.
I
Okay?
agree.
And when a Caucasian person committed the same crime, you never saw their face. And I remember when my grandparents used to be looking at the news and they didn't see the person that committed the crime, they automatically say, you know, that was a white person that did that because they didn't show their picture on TV.
But don't you think that also could be considered a racist statement?
Oh, it is. I'm not going to say it was a racist statement because it was a fact. Okay, it was a fact. I mean, now they posting their pictures on TV because of the fact. Look at the type of. I mean, long as we was doing one-on-one crime, or there was a shooting on the south side of Chicago, 2 dead, 1 injured, and that was it. That's all you heard. Okay. Nowadays, you hear. I mean, you know, they got cameras everywhere, and you can't deny what's going on. All right. You cannot deny the facts. All right.
But
that's what it is. Now what's going on in our judicial system and what's going on in the streets is being broadcast. Everybody got.
But this,
everybody got cell phones. Click
no. Listen, there's two sides to a coin.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why I say there's two sides to a coin, and don't get me wrong, I do believe systemically there are issues with our judicial system as a whole, but I also believe culturally there's a problem with our people as a whole, because you have to understand certain times you put yourself in situations to be looked at a certain way. Okay,
that's very true, and I agree with that.
So all I'm saying is this: I think it can't just be defund the police as an answer. I think that there has to be across the board looked at. I do not deny for 1 minute that historically our ancestors has been treated very poorly by police officers and the judicial system as a whole, and during the segregation time, spreading hoses and putting off dogs and lynchings and things of that nature. However, we are not in an era of lynching. We are not in an era of them turning the hoses on us. We are not in the era of them putting the dogs on us. But I think that they're doing it in a different way. They're doing it in a way like, okay, y'all want to defund the police, I'm going to let y'all go out and kill yourself. We ain't worrying about you, because it's mostly what they show on the news of our people, committing crimes, breaking into things, killing one another, doing all this kind of stuff.
You know what, and it's, and it is true that I really believe that. But I think a lot of times, even though we are doing those things, I think sometimes they highlight it.
No, I agree. Now that I don't disagree with.
Okay,
I read not very long ago. Actually, I have a copy of it, and it was a statement that was given during a KKK meeting, right? And it was a prediction during the times of slavery where they was talking about how to handle black people in the future, Negroes in the future, right? So the prediction of what they thought was going to be of our culture and of our community has not come to fruition. You understand? So they, at this point, they would think that our people would be eradicated. This race would be eradicated, and there would be no more black people, or the very few black people. They wanted to turn back the hands of times and make it during a time where we were subservient, and when we was servicing them in those type of manners. Now, you know, I respect everybody's difference of opinion. You know, I don't proclaim to be a scholar in any of it and know all the statistics and all of this and that. But what I can say is this: from a girl that grew up in poverty-stricken areas, grew up, you know, Magnolia Projects, Callio Projects in the city of New Orleans, the Ninth Ward, the New Orleans East, all of these areas, you know, at a time when I was coming up, when moving from the Ninth Ward going to New Orleans East was actually a come up. You were stepping yourself up. You were getting more into, you know, individual single family homes. It was a working class community, things of that nature. But today, New Orleans East is one of the most dangerous places to be in the city of New Orleans. You can't, you know, it's not recommended to buy a house or to open a business or to do anything there because the crime is so massive. So it's like a literal destruction of single family working class families right before your eyes. It's hard to even ignore the fact that, you know, the speculation and the rumors of this was all planned all the way back to the days of Katrina, where the theories of that, because there's no more Lower Ninth Ward, there's no more Desire Projects, there's no more Florida Projects. These are all looking like subsidized homes, and things is looking, you know what I mean? And where people once owned their homes, there's no more homes. So you're putting people in situations of desperation. And I don't think they have anything to do with color. I think that have to do with people. Because no matter where you are, if you have people that are in desperate situations, they're going to do what they need to do to bring food to the table, to keep the lights on, to you know, keep a roof over their head. Is that really about color?
No, that's not about color. That's about survival.
Exactly.
That's about survival. But with all that being said, I mean, you know, when you're in desperate measures, desperate times means desperate measures.
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
To me, even though you may have to take those measures, do you have to take them with a gun? Do you have to
I'm not going to lie, but at this day and time, I'm going to keep it 100. I ain't going nowhere without my pistol. I'm taking my heat with me because I'm just going to tell facts. This don't have nothing to do about races or anybody. You can be black, you can be white, it don't matter. You can be Indian, you can be Asian, whatever color you are. But if you try to make some harm do to me, I'm going to shoot you. That's just what it is. I'm going to defend myself. That's just, I'm not going to even lie about it. I'm just like, I have a family I want to come home to. If you try to come up in here on me, you a dead ass. That's just facts.
Well, I ain't gonna disagree with you.
I'm just saying.
I'm not gonna disagree. Guess what? 99% of the majority of the United States agree with you.
Well, listen, you know
because they have to protect their family. Exactly. They have the right to protect their family. Not only do they have the right to protect their family, they have the right to protect themselves.
So I want to pose another question to you. We're going to switch gears a little bit. And, you know, I know probably everybody wondering, like, why are you holding this sign, World Greatest Dad? Well, the reason why I'm holding this sign, because Father's Day is coming up, and we had a lot of interesting conversation about Mother's Day when Mother's Day was coming around, and we was talking about, you know, even if you were like kind of some not as involved mother and you gave birth, does it still make you a mother? Do you get to celebrate Father's Day? Mother's Day, which brings us to now Father's Day, and by all means, I believe in celebrating fathers just as much as I believe in celebrating mothers.
So do I.
So with that being said, I pose the question.
Okay.
Please don't shoot me.
What's the question?
So if you are absent father, do you still get to celebrate Father's Day? Do you have a right to celebrate Father's Day as an absent father?
My answer to that question is the same answer I had when you asked me about the absentee mother. Hell to the no, okay? Okay. Because it's the same exact answer. It doesn't make a difference whether you male or female. Every man that shoots a bullet and make a baby ain't a daddy. All right? And every woman that lay down and have a child is not necessarily a mother. She just is he's the sperm donor and she was the carrying package for the baby that was being born. Because let me put it to you like this here. You have people who has never had children, who are raising other people's children, who are the best mothers in the world. Just because they didn't have that child does not make them a good mother.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. Because that's going to bring me to part 2 of the question. But I don't think you're less of a mother if you raised a child versus had a child. I absolutely don't believe that. I mean, thank God for foster mothers and adoptive mothers. I don't think if you didn't actually give birth that makes you less of a mother or father.
Right.
I myself had my own, stand-up father that was not my biological father, that stepped in when I was 12, and that was the only father I ever knew
until you got to be an adult.
Until I got to be of adult age. But even with that said, see, I do share in the sentiments that you need to have an active role and be involved in the rearing and the raising of your children. That's not even a question for me.
Okay.
But there are these situations. There are situations.
What kind of situations?
There are situations when the father wants to be involved.
Oh, of course.
And
it's the same situation when mothers want to be involved.
We're not talking about mothers here, so
Yeah,
stop using that reference because we're going to focus on the men.
Okay.
Because the men deserve to have
you
their
know what?
platform
I
too.
agree with that. You know why I agree with that? I'm going to take you for an example.
Me as an example.
Yeah, I'm going to take you for an example.
Oh, well, I want to know what me as an example. Oh, let me get some liquor. Now, I had called this, a rated G performance with lemonade in the background.
It's still going to be rated G.
I might need some liquor.
It's still going to be... No. It's still going to be rated G. Okay. I'm going to take you for an example.
Okay.
All right. When you were a little girl, due to the circumstances, I wanted to put enough miles between me and your father that I personally would not never lay eyes on him again.
Okay.
All right? Because of the circumstances.
But that didn't make him less of a father. And
it did not make him less
right.
of a father.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say that he did not want to be in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He probably did want to be in your life, but it was my decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
But now let's stop right there. Let's stop right there because sometimes, and I do get the kids can often get caught up in adult situations.
But it wasn't about the kid getting caught up in an adult situation. That was not what it was all about.
Just hear me out because that's a personal statement. I'm talking about generally speaking. And I can talk from a personal experience because as a child who not having a choice to rather to be around their father or not, I do feel that was a situational choice that you made where that was in the best interest of you. Not, and maybe you thought, hold on, and maybe you thought at the time that was the best interest of myself as well. However, there was never a time as a young lady, as a young girl coming up, that you even approached me to say, do you want to know anything about your dad? I feel like at some point you can't continue to make decisions for your children. When we get to be of a certain age, we deserve to know things.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And when we don't know, we are now coming up with our own thoughts and imaginations in our own head about what it could have been, why it ain't so, or whatever the case may be. That's why I wanted to talk about some fathers that's absent, because every father is absent is not necessarily a deadbeat dad.
No,
because,
I'm not saying every father that's absent
and
is a
because
dad.
of that,
I'm talking about the ones that are deadbeat dads.
Oh, I'm not.
I ain't talking about.
Listen,
I ain't talking about the one. I'm not talking about them.
I'm not talking about, like, I'm not, listen now. Now, you know I know about deadbeat. I'm definitely not, making excuses for those that are capable, that are able, your children are accessible, and your ass not showing up.
Now,
that's not the ones I'm talking about.
You're not talking about
I don't celebrate them.
Okay,
right
there
now.
you go.
Those
Okay, now we on
and the
the
ones
agreement.
that got the nerve to be involved in some of their kids' life and not involved in none of the. Shame on you. Shame on you to go out and have kids and take care of them, but then the ones you started off with, you don't even call them. You don't want to be bothered. You don't even want to claim them. What shoe size they wear. Shame on you. So yeah, I wasn't talking about them.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I was talking to, I just was posing the question because, it's so easy. Our men, and I don't want to just it seem like I'm harping on black men, because white men, I done ran into quite a few of those that's deadbeats as well.
Oh,
not
there's plenty
showing
of them out
up.
there.
But I can specifically talk about what's involving in my own culture, what surrounds me, because that's what I'm involved in. And a lot of times, it's not always the man's fault. You can have, a guy that have multiple baby mamas. You see a lot of this. I got a baby over here and a baby over there, and I got one over here, and I got one coming over there. And with that being said,
what about the bitter baby mamas?
We can talk about them too. We can get to them too, bitter baby mamas. But when I'm talking about, over here, and over here in the little section in the corner over here, we can talk about those too. But I'm saying, okay, so now you
wait, hold up, brother man. What you know about bitter baby mamas?
Ooh.
Hey, I hear it all the time. And we got bitter baby mamas. The guys that want to be in their kids' life, but the baby mama be so bitter because as another female in his life, and he'd have moved on. So they use the babies as a tool to be spiteful. So now the baby daddy look like he ain't doing nothing, but yet she's the one that's being bitter instead of just working things out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, and that's really co-parenting. Like, not able to co-parent because you feeling you like really in your bag. You feeling some type of way. You might feel like the nigga done did you wrong. You done found the creeping and tipping and all this and that. And you got a couple baby over here, and the nerve of you to go over here and want to start something else with this chick over here. You left me over here with these babies. I think to a degree, she got a right reason to feel some way, but you have to find a way to put those things to rest
you have to
for the best interest of your children. But I also think that in those kind of cases too, the law, you still got law that can be on your side, and if you can't come to terms and agreement with the mother so that you can be actively enrolled, actively involved in your child's life, then you go take your stuff down there just like the women do. Go get you some visitation just like you got to pay your child support. Don't be leaning on no excuse why you not involved in your child's life, because at the end of the day, that little boy, that little girl needs you. So you do what you're supposed to do to be involved. Now that's my soapbox on that. That's how I feel.
And I agree with
that.
that.
Now I will celebrate you. I celebrate dads. I will celebrate because there's another thing. There's a difference between dads and fathers. There's a difference.
Yeah, it is.
Every father is not a dad. Every dad not a father. There is a difference. Yeah, just like every mom is not a mother. Every mother is not a mom.
Yeah.
Right?
Now you're the one who told me not to bring up mother.
I'm not bringing it up. That's all I got to say about that. That was just a reference because the other thing, before anybody try to bring on and say anything about, oh, you did all this stuff for Mother's Day and you did dinners and giveaways. What about Father's Day? Same thing coming around.
Yeah, we
celebrate. Listen, every year
we celebrate the men in our life.
Fathers, the men
all
in
the
our
men,
lives, because
all the men.
It does take a village. Going back to some of the other things that we talk about, and I don't forget my village. The people that has helped me with my children, has been there for them. Even if you had to be a sounding board or somebody to give them some advice or whatever it is may have been, where you played a role. I always celebrate.
Yeah,
And this is
we
not
do.
going to be any different. We're going to do a Father's Day giveaway
Right.
basket. We're going to do it the same way. You come on, watch what we talk about, and we'll pull a name, and you got 7 minutes to respond. We come
Yeah.
on at 7. You got 7 minutes to respond.
And
You
in
snooze,
addition
you
to that,
lose.
we have a new father in the family.
We do have a new
have a
father
new
in
father.
the
We have a
family.
new
Shout
father.
out to Tiny and his beautiful new baby and
And
his
wife.
new bride. I am so happy to be able to celebrate you guys this year. So with that also being said, my husband and I was having a really good conversation in the car because he was actually going to guest on the She Shack.
Well, he still
and,
can.
And he did.
Oh, it's a question.
So we was just having a little bit of conversation about that. I just want to remind everybody, please do not forget to go and check out our YouTube channel. We are on YouTube. We are trying to go global. We are less than 65, 70 subscribers away from being able to go global and be live on YouTube. I want to thank everybody for their support, their encouragement through this process. It has not been one that it might look easy on this side of the live, but trust me, it has been such a challenge to come from week to week to try to not pay attention to numbers and not pay attention to negative things and that kind of stuff, and not get in my head so much about how can I grow and if it's making a difference, because every single time that comes up to my mind, something or someone reminds me. I got a phone call and text message last night from a friend of mine, and she was like, I just want you to say you've been a blessing to my life. She said, she was going through some personal things, going through a divorce, things of that nature, and she said, your life has been a blessing to me. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you have to think about it this way. For me, talking about certain subject matters, it's like therapy.
It is.
It's like therapy.
Is. I look
And,
forward to Tuesdays.
Yeah, and then you have to also realize when the guest comes on, it's not that you are asking the guest to come on. The guests are asking you to come on.
And I don't think people realize that. I don't think
they're
that they realize.
asking, can I come on the She Shack
I want to
and
be
tell
on the
my
She Shack.
story?
Yeah, I want to
so,
talk about that, and it's so wonderful because I really believe that there's growth and there's healing in other people's stories.
It
There's,
is.
When it can give you some encouragement. You never know what a person is literally going through.
That's true.
In that time. I give you an example. Last week we did She Shack Live from New Orleans at the lakefront. I was so excited to be at the lakefront, right? And I had Moody on there, who she started her own accessory line, which I thought was huge, that she's just knowing her story and watching her grow up and transition into the young lady that she is and the woman that she, gonna move forward.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, it's amazing how you can see somebody from a different lens when you clean the lens. But what about when we looking at ourselves and have to cleanse the lens for ourselves, right? So I've been doing some self-help things, helping keep myself better on track, goal setting, putting myself accountability for time and things of that nature. So in this guided journal that I've been, because I love to journal, and it asked the question that actually I got stuck on, and the question was, how do you see yourself?
You know what? That very question was asked to me today, because when I walked up, they looked at me and they said, "Ooh, Charlene, I love your eyebrows. You're looking all fancy. What are you doing? How you see yourself? What you getting all, you all spiffy and dressed up for?" And I told them, I said, "I'm not dressed up for anyone. I said, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this to make me happy. I don't want to look like I've just been drugged out of bed, or I'm always having a hard day or a rough life. What my situation is that's the situation. But how I feel about myself personally is how I feel about myself personally.
Absolutely.
I think that I'm a very attractive black woman. Okay, ain't nothing wrong with your eyesight when you look at me. I see myself as moving forward in my in on this journey that I'm on now. I'm on a different journey than what I used to be on. Okay. So the journey
You
that
want some of this lemonade?
yeah, I'm gonna get some because I'm a little bit thirsty. The journey that I'm on now is quite different than where I started off at. You know, I think my transition in my life, I think you guys seen it. You know,
When you say transition, what do you mean?
well, I mean, you gotta think about it. When y'all was coming up as kids, you used to tell me all the time, Mom, you always mad, always angry. Okay. I didn't see myself that way, but I guess I spilled it out that way because I was always angry and I was mad and I was always felt disappointed and left out and all this other good stuff. Okay, but that has since changed for me. Okay.
When I thought about how do you see yourself, I actually struggled with the answer to that question. To be honest,
I mean, yeah, I struggled with
and
it
the
for a
reason-
long time because you got to think about it. That you remember, once upon a time in my life, I used to even ask you, "You think I'm a good person?"
Not that. What my struggle was, it was easy to like come up with what other people saw or say about me. You know, oh, Yvette's she's nice, she's this, she's woo, 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 you know. But never in none of this walk, none of this journey, none of it, I ever stopped in the mirror and said, well, damn, how do I see me? You know? But then when I started to like really pound, and I had to pounder with it. I had to pounder for days before I came up with an answer. And me and Trench was in the car, and he asked me. We was just, you know, it's funny sometimes you don't realize that people are paying attention to you when they really are.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
he said when we was in the car, he said, "Well, did you come up with the answer?" And I said, "The answer to what?" He said, "How do you see yourself?" And because I felt that that was a safe place for me to be, I was able to give an undressed answer. And I told him, I said, you know what? I said, I've really been avoiding answering this question because when I think about it, the first thing that came to my mind is I wasted a lot of time. So if I was going to talk about how do I really see myself, I had to start to peel back these layers of things that I covered up and that I didn't want to see. You know, and one of the first things that came was like, I wasted a lot of time. I wasted a lot of time doing a bunch of bullshit. I'm just going, when I start looking at it, I'm like, wow, you know, being rebellious on things, being like, you know, feeling like, you know, even a tug of war with my husband, feeling like I'm inferior to him. But it was really my own shortcomings because he had done graduated college and got his degrees, and I was feeling a way that I still hadn't gotten to a point to attain things. Or, you know, I told him, I said, when I really look at it, I made things harder for myself than they had to be at times. You know, and I said, like,
we do that. We do
yeah,
that.
but you know, we don't really. It's easy to look and say you.
But
and
you got to also realize that we are our own worst critic. We are. We are. Yes, we are. We are.
I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is, we also are the masters of cover up.
Yeah,
So-
and sometimes we get in our own way.
Most definitely get in our own way.
We
So,
get in our own way.
the next statement he gonna say, I said to him, I said, you know, I wasted a lot of time. I made things harder than they had to be for myself. You know,
And I think the majority of us have.
you know, I just felt like, damn, like when I really went and reflect, I'm like, a lot of it was just chasing, you know, because I became a mom young. So at a time where other people was out enjoying their youth, I'm home bumping this damn baby. You understand? So when, no, I'm just telling the truth. No, you gotta tell the truth.
I ain't disagreeing with you.
No, you gotta tell the truth. I'm gonna tell the truth here.
I ain't disagreeing with you.
So
because you know your mama said she wasn't gonna do it.
Yeah, so I'm sitting down and I'm bumping this baby with my then boyfriend. He having the time of his life. I'm over here talking about shut up, you know, bumping this baby. All my friends, his life is going, they enjoying college life and all this other kind of stuff. So when I got an opportunity to be able to You know what I mean? Oh, I partied until the roof fell down, okay? It was party. And my girlfriend, big homie Monifa Fussell, can tell you, we was at Kathmandu every Sunday. It did not fail. Every single week, I was at Kathmandu. Every Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Every, you know, so, but then I'm thinking about like, damn, if I had to show so much, if I would have showed commitment to other things in my life the way I showed commitment to being in Kathmandu every Sunday, I might have been a little further along. So it was like I had to really peel back. And once I was able to peel it back and face I'm like, damn, it's not as bad as I thought it was. You know what I mean? But facing my truth, and then I even went to a point of telling my husband, I quit. I've never quit on anything. And that's not like me trying to like pat myself on the shoulder. Like literally, I don't know how to quit. Period. So when he was saying, well, what about you going back to school and this? And I'm like, man, forget that. I'm not doing that. Who can afford that? Who can do this? I found so many reasons why I couldn't do it. So it was easier for me to just say, I quit. Right? But that resonated. Like I needed to say, needed to unload all of this stuff that I needed to unload that. And once I unpacked it and unloaded and I was able to go back to it, I was really able to see myself. I think a lot of times we can't see ourselves because we got all of this other stuff that we don't really want to unpack and look at. Because, I mean, the past is the past. We can't change it. No. But what we can do is not let the past dictate our future. And what I was doing almost in a sense was running from my past, not wanting to face it, right? So once I was able to face it, right, I got the answer. So how do you see? How do I see myself?
How do you see yourself, Yvette?
Ambitious is the word to describe me.
All right.
Ambitious is the word that describes me because I am consistently working and seeking success. That's one thing that's consistent about me, that I never stop looking, working toward
If
success.
I had to use a word to describe me, I'm going to say determined.
Determined. That's in the same family. Yeah.
Yeah. If I had to use a word, my word would be determined. And
it's some good lemonade.
Yeah, it sure is.
Because
I would have to say determined because there's a lot of things that has transpired in my life because of my determination.
Don't forget to go to YouTube. Y'all gonna hear me keep saying this because we're going global. We are going to go global. The goal is to go global this summer. Help me go global.
Let us go global.
Let go global. Support what we're doing here. We're trying to help people, empower people, give therapy, show love. We have conversations. You might not always agree with what we're talking about. You might not always agree. We're not created to always agree, but we are created to always show love. And this platform consistently every single week show love. So please go to YouTube, Conversations with the Queen from the She Shack. Some people say they can't find it. If you haven't been able to find it, I don't know how, because it's all over the group page. By the way, I still ain't seen you accept my thing for the group. You show up to the She Shack every week. She coming up with topics. She doing all this. And I done sent you 3 group invitations, and you
well, maybe I don't know what they are. You know, I'm not tech savvy over here. Okay,
that's what. Did you subscribe yet?
I don't know. I thought
oh my God, she could be one subscriber. She could be the one subscriber that we need to get there.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna get because let me tell you, I had to get somebody else my phone because they keep on saying we send you emails. I said, well, I don't never get them. Okay, so they had to.
You do get a pass.
Yeah, so they had to set up my email. So now I get my emails. You know when they send it to me. So I'm gonna have to give you my phone, and you have to show me what I need to do. And so we can go ahead on and do it.
Like, if you're not in the group, we have a conversations from the She Shack with AQUEEN, a private group on Facebook. You can also follow me on the Get Snatched Connoisseur on Instagram. And if you asking what that's about, I am a business person. First Class Wellness and Recovery Services is a business that I have that provides post-op care not just if you have like had knee surgery or back surgery. It's not just for old people. It's for all people. I take them at all. My license don't have an age group on it. I can take care of anybody. First class wellness and recovery service. My specialty is post-op care. Mommy makeovers, BBLs, tummy tucks, breast lift. I can help you prepare for that. I can walk you through it, and I can provide services for you for aftercare. So you can follow me on the Get Snatched Connoisseur on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at First Class Home Care, and also Conversations with the Queen from a She Shack. That's on YouTube, and it's also a group on Facebook. As always, man, I always enjoy sitting down and talking with y'all. We have so much good conversation. We can get lost in it. Don't forget, to send in topics if you want to be a guest on the She Shack. If you want to hear us talk about something that we haven't talked about,
Sure.
please, by all means, reach out, put up a post, say, send out that, that signal, that call. If you my Jersey family, you know how we call each other. I say yerp. So whatever it is, don't hesitate. This is not a platform just specifically it's not about me, for me. It's about us and for us. And I would love to hear from you. You have anything you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I would just like to say shout out to all the fathers on Father's Day. All the hard work that you have done thus far. Mm-hmm. I would like to give a special shout out to my sons with an S. Mm-hmm. Father, I think they're great dads. I think they're great examples of what fathers are supposed to be, mm-hmm. how they are supposed to act, mm-hmm. How they, be supportive of their children. Mm-hmm. I think they're number one. Not just because they are my sons, and I say it with an S. I have my son 1 and my son 2.
And your son 3.
And my new son, my son that just had a baby, and I know he's going to be an awesome father because he's been an awesome godfather and uncle to my grandchildren. And all the dads, happy Father's Day. All the fathers,
the uncles.
All the uncles, the fathers,
right,
the cousins, the
right,
nephews, everybody.
Right,
I would like to say happy Father's Day to one and all.
Also, because, see, this is a non-biased platform, okay?
Yeah.
And so, in partnerships, same-sex relationships, where the mother and the father.
Day.
This is Pride Month. This is Pride Month, and I will not leave y'all out because I love you from the bottom of my heart. I ain't gonna even hold you. I think it takes a real special kind of person to be able to face this world with so much judgment and ridicule that goes on, and about people's lifestyle and how they choose to live their lives. I'm not a person. I thank God for not giving me that spirit to be able to judge other people about how they live and how they choose and who they choose to be with. But I know that there are some awesome parents out there. Mom and mom, dad and dad, y'all are doing a fantastic job. I don't take that away from you. Happy Father's Day to you.
Yeah, to one and all.
Well,
happy
thank you
Father's Day.
again for tuning in to the She Shack. We'll see you again next week, 7 o'clock, same time. Good night.
It's 8 o'clock?
I think so. Is it close? Oh, we still have time.
Oh,
well, shit.
Minutes.
Yeah, how many minutes we have left? Listen, and I can talk until I'm blue in the face. I can't even believe that I was already ready.
Look at here now. You can't be talking about my daughter.
She stood up for me. We got it on film. Yo, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. And I guess since we doing a shout out, and this plaque really is about 13 years old. My kids, I tell you a story about this plaque. They bought this for their dad with their own money. They took their own money. I don't even know if he knew that they bought this with their own money.
Well,
they took their little coins together. Some of them they might have stole from me. We don't know. But they took their coins with their own money. They went to they had me to take them to the store, and they gathered up enough money for $12.99 and bought this plaque for their dad. And this plaque has literally traveled
everywhere y'all went.
Just about everywhere we went. Ever since the kids bought this, I dug it up, And the reason why is because what I love most about it is it says you're the winner, best performance in a family drama. So no matter what happens in our family, no matter how much drama come along, and you know I could be a drama queen. I ain't gonna need anybody that know me. They already
I'm gonna look
know.
over here, y'all.
Shut your
I'm gonna look
mouth.
over.
Yeah, anybody that know. Oh no.
I'm gonna look over here.
Oh no, listen. I'm not
I would look over
even
here.
about none of my stuff. There might have been a time where I was, but queen, in order for me to be a queen, not just be called a queen, I got to be honest about who I am and what I've done and where I'm going. And the fact of the matter is, listen, I was just telling him in the car, I don't know how he did some of the stuff we did. I don't know how he toughed it out with me, but you know, we talked about this in the car. I wanted to bring it up, and we got so sidetracked talking about other stuff, but we got a few minutes. So before we leave, y'all, listen. So me and husband was in the car talking, and we was talking about relationships, right? And I asked him, I said, have you ever been on the edge of opportunity but afraid to jump? Have you ever, like, opportunity is right here. You know it's there. Like, you on the edge of opportunity, but you afraid to jump over. So I told him, I said, I was going to pose that question. Y'all answer that in the chat. Have you ever been on the edge of opportunity and afraid to jump over? So then the
Yeah,
next
I'm gonna
thing.
have to think about that one.
And so then I said,
I have an answer next week.
So then I said to him, I said, another thing I wanted to kind of address, and I know some of y'all, I'm going to get feedback and kickback from this, and some of my girlfriends going to be like, Yvette, you got a nerve, but I'm going to say it anyway. So a lot of times when I'm hearing, and I could be a sounding board for a lot of my girlfriends. I don't say no. I like listening, right? And I have to think sometime before I have a response. But this response is going to be on live because I've heard so many times from my engaged and committed relationships, married friends, when things kind of start going a little rough down the deep end. I ain't signed up for this. I didn't have an answer for that. I heard it. I ain't signed up for this. I ain't signed up for this. This ain't what I signed up for. Guess what?
Yes,
it is. That's exactly what you signed up for. You signed up for that. When you say that you want to share the rest of your life with somebody, it ain't because you got a job, check. You got money, check. You got, a car, check. You got benefits, check. You got good credit, check. You ain't got no baby mamas, check. Nah, my nigga, that's not how it go. When you sign up for everything. I had to think about that, like, yo, how come ain't none of this stuff bother me? How come I'm like, well, whether we was broke or not, I was still all in, right? That's because I was all in from the giddy up. It was never on situations, because one thing about love is unconditional. That's the special kind of love. When you unconditionally love somebody, that's a special kind of love. That's not like we can have relationship goals, so don't get it twisted. I'm not trying, this is not a comparison to relationship goals, because that's not what I'm saying. You can have relationship goals, because I got my own. There's certain things I'm just not going to put up with now, Mr. Trench. Now, I'm not, but there's certain thing I'm not going to do. Yeah. And so this is not about your relationship goals or even challenging your boundaries. But when you are in a committed relationship with a person, that means if your money is low, I'm with you. When your money is high, I'm with you. When you employed, I'm with you. When you unemployed, I'm with you. When you well, I'm with you. When you sick, I'm with you. Yeah. Nah, that doesn't mean when you cheat on me, I'm with you. Because nigga, see the way I'm set up, I might cut you. So, on that note, peace. Good night, y'all.
That was her 15 minutes.
I guess so.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Did you cook?
What?
Well, you said you was cooking.
I cooked it yesterday.
Okay.
I fried chicken. We had mixed vegetables, and we had yellow rice for dinner last night.